You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
And welcome back to the program. I'm joined now by Bill Vickery of Capital Advisors Group. He's also a GOP strategist. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to see you always.
I need to ask a question, a personal question before we roll into some stuff.
Yes.
On Thursday night, were you at the Battle of the Bone between Van Buren and Alma?
So my father
Yes.
telephoned me during the game. He said it was the largest crowd that he'd ever seen for a Van Buren Alma game.
Really?
So
that says something.
He'll be 85, and he's been going to Van Buren Alma games since 1962. So,
and this is the biggest one.
He said
I think that quarterback up there threw for over 300 yards. He's going to destroy Bill Vickery's quarterback record.
Listen, that's a low bar from when I played. That's not a.
What was your career passing yards?
Yeah, 4. No, I'm kidding. We didn't have the forward pass when I played.
You did.
It was long time ago, Roby.
Let's talk some politics.
Don't we know it?
Yes. Let's talk some politics
Okay.
here. We have this past week. I want to begin with the GOP presidential debate. You had 8 of them on the stage. Mm-hmm. Who do you think stood out? Who do you think had a good debate?
Donald Trump. Right. And I'm not kidding when I say that.
And Joe Biden.
Because, look, Trump's not there. He's the 800-pound gorilla. What do you think is going to get more coverage this week? The debate and the salient discussion of the issues and Asa Hutchinson trying to make lucid, sound points and be reasonable and talk to the American people, or the Trump mugshot?
You know, we're going to get to the Trump mugshot, but yes,
but
it's already overtaken.
The point is,
coverage,
yes, he just sucks all the oxygen out of the room. I don't know. It would be very hard. You can't pick a winner in that debate. There are 8 people on stage. First of all, it's bad TV. It's static. People standing behind podiums. It's not good for the media.
The crowd hooting and hollering. Yeah.
Then they could work themselves up a little more. I think that would be interesting to me. But the reality is, some guys probably failed miserably. I think it was really. I was very disappointed to see Tim Scott's performance. I thought he would perform at a much higher level. What people don't do is they don't prepare for the debate. They study issues, but they don't prepare for how the game is played once you're on the stage. The only person who's done that extraordinarily well was the guy that wasn't there.
Yeah, performance art
Performance
is the word.
Exactly, very much so.
That's the phrase that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So there still were some moments where I think Nikki Haley stood up and was particularly strong. Mike Pence, for his political base, I think, made some good points.
They showed clarity.
Yeah.
They showed Nikki Haley, because she has clarity on foreign policy, because she served at the UN. She was strong, and that was her strength. Pence has been a lifelong pro-life conservative. Yep. That was his strength. Then they staggered in some other areas when they couldn't really come across. But 8 people, and one of them being Chris Christie, who I also felt sorry for, because I just wanted to give him a sandwich. Because at the end of the day, he didn't have anybody to yell at, you know, and he wanted so badly to yell at Trump, but Trump wasn't there, and so that's kind of the existence of his candidacy.
And he got the UFO question too.
He did. That was it should be a real question, but there's no way it can be answered sanely.
It was when the moderator was asking it. I think she even had a difficult time.
Yeah, you can't get that out.
So you mentioned Asa Hutchinson earlier. This needed to be a breakout performance for him to gain some more traction, and it was a low-key performance for him. I guess in part because of the size of the stage, but also that's just not his demeanor. He's not a demonstrative, in-your-face
He's not going to yell and scream. And guess what we don't need now in America? Some president that's going to yell and scream. But they all want to be noticed, so they will do anything short of taking their shirt off and running around the stage to be noticed. He, on the other hand, just has sort of the confidence in his intellect and beliefs, and he communicates them in a sound, lucid way. Silly him for doing that, you know?
Ron DeSantis, considered the number 2 guy, at least in the polling that we've seen, again did not distinguish himself in any way. Do you think that was first debate nerves, or do you think that was a calculated strategy?
Shouldn't have been. I mean, the man's had an incredibly successful career as governor, and the legend of Ron DeSantis is better than the candidate Ron DeSantis, and so we're starting to find that out. All in all, it's hard to distinguish yourself. This is one thing I think the governor can take away. There is the debate and then the public's perception of the debate and what's going on, and the Trump mugshot's going to kill all that. Okay, that's gone and we'll move on. Then there is the underlying sort of opinion leader analysis. And these are the think pieces, the print pieces that are done, and how that, they cover. That's where I think the governor has an opportunity. Now, that's not with the general public, but that's with sort of opinion leaders and, most importantly, donors.
Money.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's turn to the Trump indictment. It did dominate the news on Thursday, part of Friday.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be the narrative there because it's the fourth indictment. I mean, it's the fourth charge, group of charges brought against him. Just from a political circus perspective, I watched it on the news that night because they were live. I felt like we were watching OJ in the white Bronco.
It did.
He's landing.
Trump in the Bronco.
He's in the motorcade.
Yeah.
He's, I was like, good grief, this is way overkill.
Yeah.
But it was made for TV, and he's a reality TV star.
Very disappointed they didn't have the MAGA logo on the tops of the cars. They missed a great opportunity there. But no.
Or to sell some advertising. I mean,
On a serious note, talking with a friend who is unquestionably a leading conservative and Republican, who talked about, like, look, most of these are yahoos. I mean, they were hangers-on who tried to get to Trump to say, oh, you concoct this goofy triple bank shot, this is how you need to do it. And so I think, generally speaking, a lot of established politicos who even supportive of President Trump looked and said, that's the gang that can't shoot straight, get away from them, and they didn't. But the flip side to that is it's comical that you have sought indictments on all of these people and the former president of the United States for what on the surface and now seemingly deeper and deeper is just a lot of kind of hot air and angry phone conversations to paint that as an attempt to subvert the election when they did it so out in public. I mean, that's just it. I don't know.
I think some of the recorded phone calls were not the search. I mean, I don't think we've seen all the evidence yet, so I think we should not pass total judgment.
And that's sort of my point. If you and I have a conversation where I say, well, we need to overthrow this government, I mean, this is ridiculous, and that's it, and that's somehow presented in court as my intent to somehow, as a powerless individual, do that, when do we get in? That's what the murkiness of the whole thing. But Trump played it to the hilt. And you don't think that mugshot wasn't on purpose. It's 100% on purpose, as you and I know.
All right, last question for you. The GOP does seem to be a fractured party right now. You got the Trump wing of the party, and he is the dominant wing of the party, but I'm not sure if it's 50% plus one of the party when you've got 8 other candidates and even some others right there that are splintering some of the other votes. That's not a good place for the Republican Party to be going into next year's election cycle, is it?
So, no, it's not, but it's still better than the Democrats because they've got a guy that the wind blows over and everybody doesn't like and doesn't want to be in charge. So they've got their own mess to deal with and how they extract the president out of a re-elect campaign and inject somebody else in there, Gavin Newsom, whoever that might be. But you don't have to have 51. All you got to do is go to Iowa and be first in Iowa. New Hampshire, be first in New Hampshire. South Carolina, be first in. And the field winnows away after that. And so you don't have to win a majority. You just have to win large enough to keep pounding people away so that after a month and a half, the field is cleared and it's all Donald Trump.
We'll see who is in that field.
That'll be. It will be. There will. I promise you, there will be 2 or 3 folks that go on despite, and that's where I think there's a road for Governor Hutchinson. No kidding aside, a guerrilla campaign where, as the field winnows and he's there, then I think that's his opportunity.
Yeah, a little bit of some attrition there.
Yes.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So.
Pence, DeSantis, they'll fade away.
Right. He's Bill Vickery. He's with Capital Advisors Group. He's a GOP strategist, longtime friend. Good to see you.
Long time. Way too long time.
We're not going there. All right. We're back with more right after this.